What's going on, guys? I'm Matt, and this is... What's going on, guys? I'm Matt, and this is Motorworks. In today's video, we're going to show you how to adjust the chain on your motorcycle. And to get started, the tools we're going to need for this job are actually, believe it or not, in this motorcycle. Pop the seat. We look back in here. Every motorcycle from the 70s, maybe even 60s, up to just recently in the late 2000s, mid 2000s, came with a complete set of basic hand tools so that you can service your motorcycle if need be. These are the ones we're going to be using today because we're going to do a chain adjustment on this bike using the tools that came with the bike. Let's get started. Okay, now we're using the bike that we just cleaned the chain on. Alright, so if you didn't see that video, go check that video out. You'll see what this chain used to look like compared to what it looks like now. I'll tell you right now, it is a complete 180 from what it did look like. Almost every motorcycle has some form of identifier on both sides of the swing arm if you have a bike with a swing arm. Okay, the identifier is going to be some type of hash mark. Now on this side, we're at 1, 2, 3, and about a half. Okay, so let's go to the other side. On this side, we are at 1, 2, 3, and about a half. So they're equal on both sides. Now that's key to keeping that chain properly aligned, is that you make these hash marks equal on both sides of the swing arm. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our factory toolkit. We're going to remove this cotter pin, loosen this axle nut, and we don't have to completely remove it, we just have to loosen it a little bit. And then we're going to turn these adjusters clockwise or to the right, and we're going to watch these hash marks here because these are going to start to move back, and as they do, we want to make sure that they move equally on both sides. So if we turn this in, we're also going to have to turn this side in to get this to match up with the other side. All right, so we're doing this a little bit backwards from a normal chain adjustment, and I'll explain why. Since this chain is so loose, we want to first get a lot of that loose chain adjusted to a point where we can then warm the chain up. So we'll take, again, these are the tools that came with the bike. Take it, we'll loosen it. The axle, again, do a couple of turns there. Lefty-loosey. All right, just loosen that up a little bit. Checking that. Make sure that's nice and flat up against there. Then we'll check that there. So we move that back to a little bit past the 4th hash mark there. Let's take that a little bit further. Alrighty. So a little bit past. I'm gonna go on this side. We're just gonna even this up, guys. So again, we're righty-tighty. Make sure that this piece is flat against. Make sure that that's flat up against the swing arm here. Okay, and now as we're tightening, you can see the chains starting to tension up a little bit there. Okay, we're getting right about to where it's going to match the other side. About the midway point of the chain. So right in about here is about the midway point. Is going to give us about the loosest spot. Check our chain tension. That's good to warm the chain up. Again, we're going to spin the wheel. Check it again. Spin the wheel. Check it again. Okay, pretty good. We're looking for consistency here. We're getting it. Now that we have that chain at a decent tension, the proper way to check it is to actually warm the chain up. Now in order to do that, typically you would have to take your bike for a ride, which this bike's kind of in the state of needing repaired right now, but it does start, it does run. It does have a center stand, so what we could do is we can simulate a ride, start the bike up, put it in gear, let this chain go around for a little while till it gets up to a nice temperature. Then we'll put a little bit more lube on the chain and then check its final tension. Before we start the bike, we're going to go and tighten the axle back up. So righty-tighty this way. 2 hours later. Okay, now we've let that chain warm up. We'll go ahead, we'll take just a little bit of chain lube, put a rag down. Now we have that chain warm. Go ahead, spray some chain lube in there. And all we're doing again is we're just coating the inside of those O-rings. Alright. Now it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes for that chain lube to set up properly. In that time, we can go ahead and make the final adjustments to that chain. One of the things we want to keep in mind when we're doing our final chain adjustment, if your bike is on a center stand, you want to take that bike off the center stand, because that's going to give you a more accurate reading of that chain. Again, we're looking for about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of free play as good tension for this chain. I'm Matt. This is Motorworks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.